little bit later than usual, mainly just because it's been too hot. Today is overcast, a little bit cooler, still warmer than we'd like. Mostly going to be splitting today, but there's two trees that we want to harvest that are dead and standing. One fell over in the wind, one's standing dead. Just need to add to our pile a little bit. And then next time we come out, we'll start cutting for next year. We just ran over, and everything else that you see, the yellowish hue is the scrub oak. Most of it's already past changing color, but some of it's still got some red and green mixed in. It's very much fall still. Drive right over them. They'll be fine.
Getting kind of skinny here these days.
He's getting a little skinny. So straight ahead is our first candidate. It's also laying in the arroyo. We don't want it staying in there because if it ever does rain again, it's going to create havoc in that drainage area. It's not very big, but it's a problem. So we're going to take care of it. There's the helpers. All right, so here's what we did. It doesn't look like a lot because it isn't all. That was a pretty small tree. This is a fir though, and we have not really harvested fir ever out here, although there is plenty of it. The fact of the matter is though, a lot of the fir is really struggling right now. This is a transitional zone, and the drought is just really having an impact. This just happened to blow over in the wind. But we wanted to get it out of this wash arroyo area. Not that there's already all kinds of other stuff, but it was kind of blocking the main channel here. So we got it cleared out, and that's our slash pile. And hopefully, if we get some snow this winter, like a lot of it out here, we're gonna come back and burn these. We'll burn all these. We got a bunch from last year too that we never really got a chance to get rid of because it was too dry. So this is all part of the forest ecology of this property. My brother-in-law owns it. It's 40 acres, and we've been harvesting wood for, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years. Every year we take about four cords of wood out of here. These are the morons. Stop! To live in action, in vivo. Okay, so this is a good example of where we're seeing the forest kind of come back, but what we were trying to do is take out these little guys here. We don't want these to repopulate in certain areas. The ponderosa, you can see, is all over the place. Little guys popping up. You know, the scrub oak is something that covers up the open spaces first. Then you might see aspen, but we're not in the right area for aspen here. So the new obsession is to try to take out these little juniper guys before they, you know, get too much bigger. Ponderosas can end up being Christmas trees. That's one right there, that juniper. It's gorgeous, but it looks like it's almost completely dead. So that's probably one that we'll take out either this year or next year. When we do harvest, I would say probably about 50% of what we take is dying, on its way to being dead, standing dead, or a blowover like that one we just found, or something that's in a bad location and we know it's not gonna survive. So we'll sacrifice one tree for the health of another in certain areas. It just depends on where we are. So we will be harvesting standing live trees as well. That's probably going to be about half of the rest of our yearly harvest. And we have certain areas that we want to address because there are parts of the property that we have not thinned for a long time, and it really needs to be thinned out more than it is now. So that's the area that we're going to be targeting for standing live, and it's mostly going to be ponderosa too. We do like to get the juniper, and we'd love to get the pinon, but population-wise, you can see that it's probably 90% ponderosa at this point. We did hit a couple of stashes on our first walkthrough today that suggests we might be able to get a little more pinon this year than we normally do, but usually the pinon stack is very small. Juniper we do pretty well on still, because there's some big mamas that are not, you know, they're probably 150 years old and they're dead. You know, if they're dead, then we take them out. Does that all sound about right to you?
Yeah.
He's a little shy.
A lot of this is in lieu of fire.
What do you mean?
The thinning. I mean, basically the next step would be to bring in low intensity fire.
Right.
So then we wouldn't have to do all those little sapling.
All those little things, yeah. So of course we don't want a fire out here. That's like the key to all of this, is that we're helping try to improve the health of this land. So if there is a fire, it'll go through kind of gently and not torch everything. But the low intensity fire is something that we've been talking about lately. What I mentioned before, like taking those slash piles down, that's one good way to just kind of get the debris out and the stuff on the forest floor. But you can see there's still a lot of that around. This is all piles from previous thinning efforts, like going back 10 years ago, maybe even longer than that. And a lot of that stuff just got left to rot. It's not good for firewood, but that was back when there was a crew of guys out here, not just Tim and I. Not just the two old guys. So now we're heading down to the other fir that's standing, but probably like 90% dead. And it's kind of in an awkward place too. So this is an area that we did a lot of cutting and clearing from last year. So you might notice a little bit of a difference in this part. It's actually looking quite good now, except for those slash piles. Are we going to be able to drive back in there or just keep it out on the road? Probably keep it out on the road.
I don't want it to fall.
Yeah. So it's a little ways down in there. We'll probably just park out here on the road and we'll drag it out.
Or pull in after we're done.
All right. Stand by. All right, so we just took down a standing, almost dead fir from right over here. I actually got a good amount of wood, and see how it's right next to this other ponderosa. So now we got some room and a fair amount of wood. So that filled up the whole breast of the back. So now we're gonna take this up and dump it in our staging area where we'll be getting ready to split. And then we just noticed some thunder and lightning moving in. It's like a summer storm at the end of October. It's kind of nuts. But we are hoping we get some rain while we're out here. So this is our staging area / shop. This is all stuff that we cut last year for this year. Ready to burn. This is our pinon pile. Kind of puny. And we're gonna dump this fir over here, keep it separate because it's probably not ready to burn quite yet, but it will be ready in a couple months. We're gonna split this all and haul it back this year. But it's some super heavy wood. It's gonna burn great. All right, dump it. This thing is just a tank, man. Pulled up out of there with I don't know how many 1,000 pounds of wood on that. Oh! Wait! Clear! Not a very good pile, but I'll fix that. Alright, we're back on the road. We decided the weather changed on us a little bit. We might as well cut some more because that's the hardest part, and our chainsaws are both working, so that's a plus. So that's
half the battle.
That's our greatest nemesis right there is chainsaws. If they don't work, they put us out of business for the day. So we're gonna go with it. And plus it got a lot cooler. We had a little bit of rain and some thunder and lightning, which we didn't really like, but that seems to have passed now. You might be able to tell that it's a little overcast, and the temperature probably dropped 10 degrees, maybe more.
15 degrees now.
So when you're out cutting wood, it's kind of the perfect temperature right now. Splitting, that's a pretty easy job. It's monotonous, but it won't take us long. We'll have all that stuff split in one day and loaded and ready to bring back into town. It'll probably be 2 days because we can't fit all that in the trailer at once. Because we do have to haul all that back to Santa Fe with the Durango, which could totally handle it, but it's just a lot of weight. We figure each full trailer load is 2 cords, right? 2 cords per trailer load. A cord is 4 feet by 4 feet by 8 feet. In the state of New Mexico, you're only allowed to buy or sell wood as a function of a cord. So you're technically not allowed to sell a trunk load. Yeah. We'll just have to leave that one, huh?
I don't know what that was.
Well, let's go up there. Where's the other one?
The other one's right there.
Oh. You want to start with that one first? Anyways, we just found another dead one, but it might be too far gone. Anyways, you have to buy or sell wood in portions of a cord. A whole cord, a half cord, that's pretty much it. Like, so if you're buying a trunk load of wood or a truckload of wood, technically that's not okay. But people do it all the time.
By lightning and it dropped in half.
Yeah, it did. All right, we gotta go. So this is crazy. Just want to show you this real quick. This tree got struck by lightning about halfway up, and then the whole top half came and fell down and ended up leaning up right against it. So Tim's gonna take out the standing part and let them both fall at the same time. a little bit dicey. So he's wedging it on the downhill side. That's going to weaken it where we want it to go. This is not easy because you got to cut on an angle. So once we get that notch out, it can cut through on this side and it'll go where we want it to go. So there goes the notch. Yeah, stand behind that tree. The thing that's crazy about this is there's extra weight of the tree on that thing, so it's gonna get it to where it's just barely starting to break loose and then just get the hell out of there. There it started to turn. Clear, clear. All right, now it's kind of hung up. Try to push it. This needs a little more. And there it goes. Now we got a hanger. Just see if it'll roll. There it goes. One more. There we go, baby. Boom. Sweet. So, we always plan out every single cut we make and we stay within eyesight of each other. Safety first, people. So I'm gonna go over here and cut my tree down. It's an old tree that was also struck by lightning a while back and is on a verge of death. Right now? Oh. All right. So at a certain point, you know, you just run out of gas running those chainsaws. So I want to show you a little bit of the progress. We've cut a lot more today than we were planning on. So this was one tree. This is how we leave it, just sitting out in the woods and stacked up as much as we can. And that'll be good to go by next year. Then we'll just come around with the pliers and pick it all up. I was gonna cut this one down too because it's leaning way over, and this is the whole area in general that we want to try to clear out a little bit more because the well's right up at the top of this hill here, and eventually the building site's going to be nearby. But we need to clear out a lot more defensible space before that's even something that'll be thought about. So that was one tree cut, stacked, and then Tim took down two, but he didn't get as far as I did in the stacking department. And then basically our saws are kind of need a tune-up at this point too. These things are pretty brutal. Yep, yep. It's a little far down the hill, but... You know what? I can probably get it out of here. So this was the one that got knocked by the lightning, hit into two pieces. So that's a good amount of wood right there. And then I started on this, but my saw just won't get through that anymore. This is just pretty green still. So saving that for another day. It's beer 30.